name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when the narcissist has to start over. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So usually on the videos I create, I am referring to you, the person healing, or the person who has healed, that you have to start over, and you have to rebuild, and you have to put yourself back together. First and foremost, you have to be fortunate enough to figure out what narcissism is and how it affected you for a period of time. And you have to learn the definitions, the glossary, and apply those to your real life experience. And that over time equals, yes, it equals wisdom. Now this wisdom is something that you are acquiring or you have acquired. The narcissist has no wisdom whatsoever. They have zero wisdom. They never will have wisdom. All they have is manipulating techniques in a bottomless pit. But what they have to do, unlike what you had or have to do, is they have to start over again, and they have to start grooming a new person, or grooming new people, or going back to recycled sources of supply to get what they were getting from you. Now I'll touch on you for a quick moment, then I'll go back to the narcissist, because this video is primarily about when they have to start new or start over. You, remember, you are healing or you've healed, you're elevating, you're ascending, you're growing, you're changing, you are evolving. You are not in that low vibrational quagmire state with the narcissist. You're not repressed, you're not being disrespected, you're not being given silent treatment, gaslit, stonewalled, you're not experiencing verbal abuse and so much more. You're now really focusing on yourself, and you're learning to control what you can control. You're understanding that that person, i.e. the narcissist, the one you're considering, they did know what they were doing. They had done it before they met you, and most likely they're still doing it right now with somebody else or other people. Now getting back to them, when they have to start over, this is not a good thing for them. You may think, no, after the narcissist discarded me or after the relationship ended with the two of us, they were living their best life and it was all ice cream and snickerdoodles. Well, it wasn't. You may have thought that. You were supposed to think that because back then you didn't have the wisdom. You didn't realize that the narcissist wanted you thinking that. The narcissist also did not want you healing, focusing on yourself, going no contact and blocking them, but you've done all those things or you are about to do those things. What the narcissist has to do is they have to start over again and again and again. And you may say, doesn't that get tiresome? Doesn't it get exhausting? Doesn't it get draining? Well, I'm not a narcissist. I can't tell you that, but I can tell you this, that if you had to start putting on a new mask after a period of time with being with somebody, and you have to do it every 6 months or every 3 years or every 6 years or every 12 weeks, whenever it was, that would become quite cumbersome because you couldn't keep your lies straight. You couldn't keep your sob story straight. You couldn't keep your story straight. You couldn't keep all the people that you abused or manipulated, all their stories straight. This is why the narcissist erases people. This is why the narcissist erases the past. This is why they can't be accountable, they can't introspect, they can't be authentic, and they will blame anybody under the sun for their own misgivings and for the dissolution or dissolvation, if that's a word, of the relationship that they were a part of. The narcissist is loyal to nobody, they care about nobody. What they need to do, and you may say they want to do it, well, sure, they need, but they definitely need to, is they need to get new people, what I call the next new shiny object, or what you may call the new supply, or a recycled source of supply. They need to matter to somebody. So when the narcissist finds somebody who is vulnerable, who is naive, who is new, who is trusting, who just lost a loved one, or just relocated, or just is new on the job, or just new to the neighborhood, they will look at that person and think to themselves what they can take. How vulnerable is that person? Is that person young and maybe they don't have a lot of money, but they have vitality? Is that person older and they just lost their spouse of 50 years and now they're vulnerable and they are just about to inherit a boatload of money? Is that person, let's say in their 30s, 40s, or 50s, and they just got divorced and they just relocated somewhere, and now they had a divorce, but now maybe they're missing intimacy, and the narcissist will try to fill that for the new person. You see, the narcissist is always looking to see what they can take, what they can extract, and they will give you absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, in return of substance. All they will give you is empty promises, future faking, the what ifs, the wondering, the how could I stay in this, the how did I not know, how did I fall for the mask, how did I not see it, why did I not trust my instincts, why did I not trust my intuition, how come I didn't pay attention to red flags? Well, I went down those rabbit holes for quite a long time, and either you have or you will. But you see, the narcissist has to start over and over and over. This is why the narcissist can't sit still. This is why they're always on their smartphones. Sometimes the narcissist has 3, 4, 5 smartphones. You say, really? Well, yeah, really. You can't make the things up that you experienced. You can't unsee what you've seen, and you cannot trust anything other than what you know to be the truth. The narcissist, when you were with them, they painted the narrative that they were the victim and that all their exes broke up with them and they took all their money and they didn't raise the kids properly and they didn't get any money or whatever they wanted to say. Remember, you didn't know who the narcissist's exes were. Some of those people are not even on the planet, I can assure you, wink, wink. But for those of them that are, maybe some of those people wised up and they kicked the narcissist to the curb. Maybe they went no contact early on in a budding relationship, or maybe after the narcissist got married to a person before they married you, maybe that person, after they had a kid or two, they said, wait, something's wrong here. I need to get out of this relationship. Who knows what happened before they met you, but what I do know is whenever the narcissist met you, they saw you as an opportunity. They did see you as a new supply. They did not look at you the way I look at you, as the beautiful, bright, shining light. They looked at you as a person they could take from and insidiously creep into your energy field, into your mind, into controlling you, your hopes, dreams, aspirations, goals, your future, your present, and anything that meant anything to you, which again includes your hobbies, your relationships, your money, your time, and your food, and your music, and your city, town, state, all these things and more. But the narcissist has to start over. Now, when they get kicked to the curb themselves, I'm referring to the narcissist, this usually comes out of left field. It's usually unexpected, not always, but usually. And this throws a monkey wrench in the plans of the narcissist. And what do they have to do? Well, they have to go look down in their smartphone and figure out how many people are still stuck in the trauma bond with them, or how many people are still tethered to them, or how many people are still giving them the time of day. And then they look to see where these people are, how to get to that, from that state to wherever they are, that city or country, and how to get that person back in the fog. And it usually is pretty easy for the narcissist to get people who haven't healed or who haven't figured out what narcissism is to enter a part of a relationship with them again. Again, think about you. How many times did the narcissist attempt to hoover you? Or, flip it this way, when you're in the relationship, how many micro discards did you experience? You may say, what's a micro discard, Andrew? Well, a micro discard is when the narcissist, hypothetically, they disappeared for a weekend, on a girl's weekend, or a guy's weekend, or they intentionally did not buy you a birthday present, or they made you late when you got a pay raise, or you got an award, or you won some kind of trophy or something, or when they didn't attend your kid's graduation, or when they told you they would be there to pay the alimony and they didn't lift a finger to do it. These are micro discards. The macro discard is the big discard. That's the ending of the relationship. When that happens, usually the narcissist has a new source of supply lined up. But like I shared a moment ago, there are people who end the relationship before the narcissist can end it. And if you're one of those people, you're an extremely strong person. If you're not, if you're a person who got discarded like myself, you're extremely strong also because you have the wisdom, or you're acquiring it and you're using the tools that I provide for you with each and every video, and you're getting your cup full with all the beautiful comments from all over the globe from other people who have healed or who are healing. But the narcissist will always have to start over again. They have to start over again in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and if they make it that far upwards, you must also remember, and everybody say it with me, as the narcissist gets older, they become whom? That's right, they become the aging narcissist. And again, say it with me. Who is or whom is the aging narcissist? That's right, they're not a pretty sight to see. These people, they look in the mirror and see a version of themselves from 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. They still think that they look like they did when they were in their early 20s. They still think they can charm anybody and they can still use their batting of eyelashes or the rosy cheeks or the way they walk, etc. Well,
in other words, they're delusional.
They're a pitiful sight. And you have pruned up, and now what happens to you? Most people have figured out who you are, and they want nothing to do with you. And you try your best to continue to cling on to what once was, knowing that you blew up every relationship that you ever encountered, including with your spouses, your kids, your stepkids, your siblings, your parents, your friends, colleagues, coworkers, and anyone else you throw under the bus. But having said these things, that's why the narcissist has to start over and over and over and over again. Because they don't like sustainability, they don't like commonplace, they don't like togetherness, they don't like growth, they don't like the word we. What they like is the word I, and me. And once you're tethered to them, meaning once you're in that narcissistic fog, and specifically when you don't know what's going on, you are very vulnerable. I mean extremely vulnerable. And this is when the narcissist did most of their damage to you. This is when they were inflicting all the cuts. It was almost as if death by 1,000 paper cuts that you were experiencing because you were. But what you were doing back then is you were looking the other way, turning a blind eye, thinking you could fix an irreparable relationship, thinking you could fix the person, thinking you could help them, you could change them, you could turn them to the good side, and there is a little bit of goodness inside of them. Well, think again, there's nothing good inside of them. These people are rotten to the core, which is why they have to start all over again. Think of all of the relationships the person you're considering has blown up. Think of all the people that don't want anything to do with them. Think of all the people that have wised up. Think of all the parties or events or ceremonies that they're not invited to or they're not welcome to. Think of all the people that have closed the avenues of communication to the person you're considering. And by now, you're probably one of them. If you haven't done that yet, you will in time. Remember, you must go no contact. You must block that person, delete them, remove them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? If you're still struggling and you're still trying to put two and two together and you have deduced or figured out that that person is toxic, maybe even narcissistic, well, you're going to really have to put some focus and energy into yourself, because these people only get worse. These relationships only deteriorate. Every time you accept a Hoover or every time you open up avenues of communication with these people, and you shouldn't, it will only get worse and worse and worse. And this is what the narcissist wants. Why? I'll tell you why. Because the narcissist wants to break relationships. They don't want to build them. They want to blame people for things that they did or didn't do in the relationship. They don't want to be accountable. And they want to take anything under the sun they can from the target, which again is your money, time, energy, love, empathy, your memories of the past, which is what gaslighting is, etc. They want to do whatever they can to keep people trapped in that zombie-like, trance-like state. And again, when you're in that state and you don't know what's going on, you're helpless, you're flailing, and you're thinking that you just found the best relationship known to humankind. Well, what you just found was the worst relationship known to humankind, but you weren't taught this in school, so how could you know it? And you're still trying to fix the relationship, although the narcissist was trying to destroy you and that relationship and anybody that was close to you. Before I close the video, I'll say a few things. What the narcissist wants to do is disrupt. What the narcissist wants to do is distract. What the narcissist wants to do is isolate. What the narcissist wants to do is slowly and insidiously chip away at people. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, until there's nothing left of those people. That's why when you're in these relationships, you lose your identity to the narcissist. You become a shell of yourself. You become an extension of them, and you become in that zombie-like, trance-like state, which is the narcissistic fog, and you become the unpaid helper, the walking apology, the sounding board, the cook, the cleaner, the chauffeur, the errand person, and more. And they knew this because they had done it before. So as I'm sharing before I close the video, why the narcissist has to start again, it's because every relationship, and I mean every one of them, they fracture and fracture and fracture until they break it. And then they blame that person for the ending of that relationship, or they scoff and laugh and just say, yeah, well, what are you going to do about it now? I took whatever I could from you, and you have no money. Your kids won't talk to you. Your besties, I blew up your besties because of the smear campaign, and I won over our kids. They won't talk to you because I've now told them what a bad person you are, and etc. Well, the truth of the matter is, there's a power much greater than a human being, and that power sees what we all do. That power knows what we are all thinking, and that power you cannot run from, you cannot escape from, you cannot hide from. And you know what the power is. It's the power above. And that power eventually will come back to get the narcissist. Again, I don't wish doom and gloom on anybody. I am not a negative person. I have never once wished ill will upon anybody, and I'm not going to start now. What I'm going to share with you is whatever you sow, you reap. And whatever you put out in the universe, it will come back to you. If you're going to be a negative person and try to destroy people's lives and think that on this time period or on this planet Earth that you can get away with it, maybe you can for a period of time. Until when? That's right, until you can't. And when you can't, it will be too late. So that's why these people always have to start over. And they have to start over and over and over, because they can't face the truth. They can't face reality. They live in their own tiny little pea brain. They have their own little script running around in that tiny brain telling them, I am important. People need me. I am powerful. People respect me. I am the most important person ever. Robotic-like, boring yawn. This is what these people do. They copy-paste. They regurgitate other people's lines. They steal other people's ideas. They take credit for other people's doings and achievements, etc. And they think no one's ever going to figure it out. Well, think again, narcissists. We've all figured it out by now. We all know we want nothing to do with you. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And when the narcissist has to start over, you may say, well, they were looking forward to it. They wanted to. They had the new supply lined up. You're probably right. However, you must remember, whoever the new supply is, they're not you. And the new supply is only one of three people. A recycled source of supply, meaning someone who hasn't figured out narcissism or didn't crack the code or isn't strong enough to do it yet. Number two, they're a clean slate like you were. Or number three, they are another toxic person. Those are the only three people that the narcissist can use as a new source of supply. So get the message. Once you're off the radar of these people, you need to stay off of the radar and continue to have a small footprint and heal properly. And there are the beautiful bells here in the Carolina environment. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Wha-bam.
Let's hear how many days I think there's going to be 6.
Bam. No one's even watching Tova. They're missing out. They're missing out, Tova.
I love y'all. God bless you. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be the narcissist needs the relationship to break. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the narcissist needs many things when you are in the relationship with them. They need your empathy, your love, time, energy, effort. They need all of your resources. They need your money. They need your status, your social circle. They need everything for you that you have to give to them. That's what they want. So the narcissist, remember, they are a taker. And what they want to do is they want to take. And when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right, they want to take more. But one thing the narcissist needs throughout the relationship, specifically after they have sunken their dirty fangs into you, in other words, after you have professed to them that you love them, or you married them, or had children with them, or bought a house with them, or relocated, or started a business, once they knew that they had you, that's when the narcissist began to break the relationship. And many times this happens, let's say a romantic relationship for a moment, many times it happens the day after you're married. Many times it happens the moment you relocate halfway around the world or to a different town, city, state, or country. Many times it happens after the ink is dry on the business that you just signed. You went into partnership with the narcissist. Many times it's after you give them money or put their name on the deed to your house or a property or something. Because the narcissist, what they want to do, and they achieve this, and they accomplish this throughout their whole life, if you want the truth of it, they wear a mask and they manipulate people. Now what they do is they get people to fall in love with them when, in fact, the narcissist cannot fall in love with anybody. The narcissist has no love and no empathy. What they have is fake humanity and fake empathy and fake love. And they can mimic back to anything that you tell them or told them in the past. That's why so frequently you'll catch the narcissist staring at you, giving you that smirk, when you'll see the pitch blackness of their pupils just soaking in all of your energy. This is exactly what the narcissist does. But one thing they needed was to break the relationship, and they tried to break the relationship over and over and over once they knew that they had you. So this second stage of the narcissistic abusive cycle, the first one is the love bomb / euphoric stage. The second stage is the devaluation stage. That's where you're trapped in the narcissistic fog and you don't know what's going on. You're trying to get back to that euphoric stage and you can never quite get back there. You're given little breadcrumbs of hope, of fake love and fake empathy, but it's not sustainable because each and every relationship with the narcissist, it has an expiration date, and the narcissist can only wear the mask for so long. The third part of the narcissistic relationship usually is the discard or the ending of it, and at times there will be a fourth part, which is a hoover. Remember, the time of year we're in right now, you are susceptible to a holiday hoover, not only now, but 365 days out of the year. If you have not gone no contact and blocked the narcissist, remove them, deleted them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them, and begin to heal, or you have healed. But those four parts of the narcissistic abusive cycle, they just go around and around and around and around. And as the thumbnail mentions, the narcissist wanted to break the relationship. They needed to break the relationship. And I'll give you so many illustrations as to how they did it, why they did it, and why they're doing it right now with whomever they're with on the planet. Number one is throughout the relationship, again, after they knew they had you, they would give you mini discards. They would be testing you. They would be perhaps not replying to your texts as they used to. Remember, in the beginning of the relationship, you probably were texting the narcissist.
100
the whole litany of emojis, hearts, puppies, rainbows, unicorns, smiles,
sure
all
did.
the positive things. And then what you found yourself doing is replying back to the narcissist those exact same emojis. And it was a little game for a while there. Who would send the most heartfelt emojis? Well, you started off with sending 0. Next thing you know, you're sending 2. They're sending 5. You're sending 4. They're sending 10. You're sending 20. Next thing you know, they're sending 5. You're sending 25. They're sending 2. You're sending 30. They're sending 1. You're sending 40. They're sending nothing. And you're scratching your head as to what happened to the relationship. What happened to the relationship is it was a relationship built on quicksand, built on a house of cards. It was not stable. It could not ever be sustained, and the narcissist knew this, but they also knew that they had you manipulated, tricked, and trapped, and they were keeping you a mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial prisoner, perhaps even in your own home, when you were in that narcissistic fog, when you were being devalued each and every day. And this is, as I've mentioned a few times now, the narcissist tried to break that relationship many, many times with you. And what did you continue to do? I will tell you what you did. You were the glue that kept the family together. You were the glue that kept the relationship together. You were the glue that was working for the relationship, for the narcissist. You were giving to a fault. Maybe you were a people pleaser. Maybe you were a yes person. Maybe you didn't have boundaries. Maybe you couldn't say no, the strongest word in the English language. And when you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. Play that again. The narcissist was always checking the pulse of the relationship that you were a part of. They were watching you from afar. They were watching the way you texted. They were watching if you were smiling or having too much fun. They were watching if you were crying during a movie. They were watching if you were waving hello to complete strangers as you would walk down the street. They would tease you and say things like, what, you're not running for governor or president, why are you waving to complete strangers? And you would just keep walking, scratch your head, look at them, give them a chuckle, but be in bewildered stage because you couldn't believe that, why can't you say hi to somebody? That's what you do. That's why you are a beautiful, bright, shining light. But the narcissist tried to take this away from you. They wanted to steal your beautiful abundance. They wanted to steal your energy. They wanted to keep you captive in that narcissistic fog, being devalued each and every day, week after week, month after month, year after year, perhaps even decade after decade. And they accomplished this for a period of time until when? Until they didn't. Now, the third part of the relationship, if you were discarded, my heart goes out to you. If you had to end it yourself, again, my heart goes out to you. Being in a narcissistic relationship for 1 minute is 1 minute too long. And if you have never experienced a narcissistic relationship, my hope is you are here on the channel in the community gaining the wisdom, getting the free education, learning from the community, and sharing and understanding the experiences that people post in the community. These are real life experiences, and these are meant for you to become awakened and aware, educated, and empowered, because my hope is you don't have to go through a narcissistic relationship. But then again, so many of us in the community have. That's why we're paying it forward. But this, what I'm sharing, when the discard happened, what happened with you? Well, I'll tell you, you had to really dig in deep to yourself. You had to figure out who you were in that relationship with. And you found that needle in a haystack, like all the blades of grass behind me. You found that one blade of grass, 1 in a billion, and you got your first light bulb moment. You were beginning to get the education on the narcissistic abusive cycle. And how you did that? Most likely you typed in a search engine, spouse won't talk to me. Or someone gave you a video, or you went into YouTube and said, what's a rage fit? I don't get it. And then ding, 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 you're getting the awareness on toxic people all over the globe, maybe even narcissism. Why I'm saying all these things is the narcissist needed to break the relationship, not only with you, but with everybody, because the narcissist needs disruption. They need confusion. They need chaos. They need to be able to manipulate people. And when you are trapped in that fog and you don't know what you're up against, i.e. the narcissist, you weren't taught this in school, so you didn't know how to combat it. You did not know how to deal or how to process things. So you kept on working for the relationship. So going back to the discard, like I mentioned, what was probably one of the first things you did? You probably were crying for days or weeks or months. You probably were gaining weight or losing weight. You probably couldn't wrap your head around what had just happened. You were processing that relationship perhaps of 6, 7, 10, 20 years. It was not what you thought it was. And then eventually, like I said, you get the needle in the haystack, and then you understand that you have to practice radical acceptance. You have to face the facts that that relationship was not what you thought it was, and that that person never loved you. They didn't care about you then, they don't care about you now, and they don't care about anybody other than themselves, including the new supply or their own family. These people are hollow, they're shallow, they're empty vessels. What they want to do is consume other people's energy, other people's resources. That is why they glom onto people, and they need a host that they can extract from. At one point that was you, it certainly was me. But a funny thing happened post-narcissistic relationship. You were looking for closure, you were looking for answers, you were looking for solutions to the relationship that you were just a part of. You couldn't figure out why that person was not working with you, headed in the same direction, trying to build the relationship up. And then you figured out, wait a minute, this person actually never had my best interest at heart. And I'm now looking at myself and looking at the relationship and seeing who they are. And now I'm paying attention to all the red flags that I've uncovered from the length of that relationship. In other words, like I mentioned earlier in the video, when the texting, all the emojis that would be sent and then they just disappeared overnight. Well, that's
Literally,
a huge red flag.
exactly.
Another one would be your social media
Everything.
presence on their platforms.
Exactly.
Maybe it was on a very popular social media platform and your picture or images of the two of you was pasted all over the place until the wedding bells rang. And then what happened when the wedding bells rang? Well, I'll tell you what happened. Slowly you became erased. Slowly you were removed from their social media presence. The reason why that was because even though they married you, as an example, they still wanted to appear single. So for all the other unsuspecting sources of supply all over the globe who they were in communication with during your marriage, and believe me when I tell you, they were, all these people can just think, wow, they're single now. Okay, well, I can flirt with them, or I can send them naughty pictures, or whatever these people do. And that's how the narcissist was getting supply behind your back while you were still in the relationship with them. This is only one microcosm, one tiny little breadcrumb of exactly what these people do. But think about this. Why does the narcissist have multiple smartphones? Now, not everybody that has multiple smartphones is a narcissist, but it is a red flag. Why do you need 3 phones? Well, I'll tell you why. You need one for work, you need one for pleasure, whatever your day-to-day life, and probably you need one for other sources of supply. Who knows? But the point is, I know that the smartphone is an integral part of the narcissist's repertoire in dishing out abuse and punishment and manipulating people. But the narcissist always wanted to appear single. Think about this one. Whether you were married or not, you're in a relationship with them, how many times would they be walking 10, 20, 30 feet or yards in front of you? Frequently. When you were attending events, barbecues, when you're going shopping, when you were walking through town, when you were walking to go visit neighbors, the narcissist frequently was walking way in front of you, maybe even behind you, but were they walking side by side with you, communicating with you, holding your hand and telling you how much they loved you? Of course not. Because the narcissist wanted to appear single. And the narcissist, when they were walking 30 feet or yards in front of you, what were they doing? They were driving a wedge between you and them, and they knew that. See, they were trying to break the relationship. They were trying to test you and to see if you would tolerate their poor behavior or if you would try to put up a boundary. And again, if you try to put up a boundary or you called them out and said, hey, what's going on here? We've been married X number of years and you're not even treating me properly. There's no respect here. You're walking right in front of me like you're single. What's going on? Well, then what would they do? They would tell you, oh, you're so insecure. You're lucky to be with me. Do you know how many people want to be with me? You're so lucky I deal with you. Don't be such a baby. Toughen up. Have thicker skin. You're the only person I have problems with. Get over yourself. What's wrong with you? You need help. Go see a therapist. They'll pep you with things like that. And then what are you doing? Now you're on your way to a neighbor's house or barbecue. You hear those words, and what are you thinking? Oh my gosh, like, what's going on here? All I want to do is be loved and respected and honored and cherished. But this person doesn't even want me to be in a good mood. You're right. They didn't want you to be in a good mood. And when you attended that barbecue or went to the neighbor's house, you would be scratching your head, not in a good mood, and you would be kind of somber, like, what's going on? I don't get this. Wow.
Jesus.
But then you would try to put on a fake smile, and you would
Just
do it for a
spot
little
on.
bit. But the narcissist
Spot
was
on.
beaming from ear to ear with that smirk, with the batting the
That's
eyelashes and the rose-colored
unbelievable.
cheeks, because they just got supply from putting you way down, devaluing
Wow.
you, not walking with you, not holding your hand, and not communicating with you.
Yeah.
And then they go into the event, barbecue, and they're feeling great, like
These people are
$1 million.
real.
And this is what happened over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because the narcissist needed to break the relationship. And the longer you were in that relationship, the more the narcissist was testing you. They were testing you in the mornings. Watch this one. You get up, you're going to work, and the narcissist has to give you a ride to work. What happens? Well, when you're in the car, probably you're being given the silent treatment, or being blamed for something you did or didn't do, or being told how many things you need to do
after you get out of work. In other words, you were given the endless to-do list, and your whole day was being diminished. When you got out of that car and you were dropped off at work, you'd be scratching your head again saying, what is going on here? I was just given the silent treatment for 20 minutes, and as soon as I get out of the car, this person's on their phone acting like they're in the best mood in the world. Because that's the mask. They are totally
Oh my
devaluing
God,
you,
I
and they're showing it to you
literally-
when you're in the car, when you're getting the
Unbelievable.
silent treatment.
Just unbelievable.
It's so easy to see in hindsight, but when you're in it, you can't see it because you're in it too deep. And most likely, when you're in it, you're in love with the narcissist and they can't fall in love with you. Number two is you're working for the relationship and they are not. They're trying to break that relationship. And number three, you're confused because you keep giving to a fault. You keep working for them and for the relationship. You keep on trying to patch the relationship up, and you never quite figure it out until you heal properly that that relationship was never going to make it. Because each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. Yours was no different. This is how it works. This is how the cycle goes around and around and around. There's only one constant in the narcissistic abusive cycle, and it certainly isn't you. It's the narcissist. So go back in time. Think about how many times did the narcissist exclude or isolate their own family members, maybe their mom, maybe their sisters, maybe their own kids, maybe coworkers, maybe acquaintances, maybe neighbors, maybe business people, maybe people in communities. Think about this. It's the narcissist with the issues, with the concerns, with the problems, with the instability. The narcissist is trying to drive wedges between any relationship with you or with anyone that matters to you. This is what the narcissist does. And when you don't have the wisdom and you don't have the tools and you don't understand the definitions, the terms, the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle, in other words, when you don't know what stonewalling is, or the silent treatment, or what rage fits are, or what verbal abuse is, or what triangulation is, or what gaslighting is, when you don't know any of those things, you're up against a behemoth. You're up against an insurmountable force who's trying to crush you. And believe me when I tell you, when I say crush you, that is what I mean. They do not want you living your best life. They do not want you figuring out who they are. They do not want you healing. They do not want you dusting yourself off and picking yourself up by the bootstraps and healing and learning and growing and teaching and becoming awakened and aware. That's the last thing they want. They were banking on you post-discard not existing because they had done this before to other people. This is how they do it. They want to take everything from you, your belief in yourself, your social circle, your status, your identity, your resources. They want to take everything and they want to make sure that you have nothing. That is why think about this, when you're divorcing a narcissist, it usually gets dragged out a lot longer than you're anticipating. And just when you come to terms with a solution, let's say that the assets and the division of child custody will be 50-50, and you think everything's going well, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is the narcissist is going to want more money, and they're going to want more custody of the children. The custody thing is, I'll tell you this, most times the narcissist doesn't even want custody of the children. They just don't want you to have custody of the children. And the other thing is money. The number one thing the narcissist wants from these relationships is money. It's for you to catapult them from their low vibrational quagmire state to an elevated state. And when they get everything from you that they possibly could extract, then they put in place the new supply. They kick you to the curb. They break the relationship. They discard you perhaps, and they slither away into the darkness with an unsuspecting person who maybe has a large bank account. Maybe they have an inheritance. Who knows what they have, but they're providing something for the narcissist, something similar to what you used to provide for the narcissist. The thing is, your resources are now decimated and depleted. You have nothing left to give. Just like this tree behind me, you were the giving tree. You kept on giving and giving and giving and thinking the relationship would mend, thinking that the narcissist would wake up and be a good person. That will never happen. The narcissist only gets worse over time. Their looks fade, their resources become depleted, all the relationships, including with their immediate family, become decimated. Wedges are driven left, right, and center, and people wake up to the narcissist. They sincerely do. I will share this with you. I coined this term about 2 years ago. I'm going to say it again. Everybody reveals themselves in time. Each and every one of us. So maybe the narcissist won't be revealed today. Maybe it won't be tomorrow. Maybe it will be in a couple of years. Maybe it'll be next month. Who knows? But the longer you are behaving a certain way in life, meaning if you're an authentic or genuine person, well, people will see that. And they will, most kind, loving people will applaud you for being a honest, forthright individual, a beautiful, bright, shining light, if you will. Flip it. If you're a toxic, narcissistic person, or someone who vibrates in the low quagmire state, who doesn't want to do anything other than take and destroy relationships, that will be revealed in time. Because every time the narcissist discards somebody, or every time they blow up a relationship, that is one more skeleton in the closet of destruction that is haunting them, and it is over their shoulder. And that's why the narcissist is filled with anxiety. That's why they can't introspect. That's why they can't be accountable. That's why they don't care about anybody but themselves. Because they're childish, they're cowards, they're bullies, they're empty, and they know what they do. Before I close the video, this is a question I get so frequently during one-on-one sessions. Does the narcissist know what they're doing? Yes, they do. They put their clothes on the exact same way you do, they breathe the same air, and they eat the same food, which means they are understanding and knowing exactly what they're doing. Understand the message. So the narcissist needed to break the relationship. They needed to break every relationship, because half of the thing for the narcissist, half of the experience, I should say, there are 3 parts here, then I'll close the video. One is getting you to fall in love with them, or getting you trapped in that relationship. That's supply city for them. Second thing is extracting your resources from you. By what stage, i.e. the narcissist involved. That's pleasurable for them also. And the third thing is, once the relationship is over, they're getting supply again, because now they can insert the new supply into the relationship, and they blame you for everything of the ending of the relationship, or they play the victim card, whatever they want to, and the cycle goes around and around and around. This is how it happens. But the narcissist needed to break the relationship because they got jaded and bored with the relationship that you were a part of and the relationship that they were in before they met you. And I'll tell you right now, the narcissist needs new shiny objects. They need new things. They need new relationships with people, not only romantically, but friendships, hobbies, tangible assets, resources, money, everything. This is what keeps the narcissist going. They need the fuel to extract from other people. That's why the narcissist is destined and doomed to stay in that cycle. They cannot ever escape it, and they know it, you know it, and I know it. So understand the message. The narcissist needed to break the relationship. They need to break every relationship. There is not one relationship with the narcissist where there is not damage inflicted upon another individual. It's just the way these things work. That's why you need to go no contact, block them, delete them, remove all fly monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? If you can't utilize gray rock, become dull and boring. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. God bless you. I love you all. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I loved doing this one. Have a great day, weekend. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I love you guys. Bye.
I'm Chris Hansen here in New York City. Right now, in a special edition of Tova and Narc Daily, the husband, the wife, the knife.
Wow, sirs, I don't even know. It's fucking nuts.
It went from love at first sight.
I just thought she was just awesome.